but it isn't looking good for Biden. But let's look back up at our friends in Ohio and see how they're doing.
Georgia's flipped right now. It's leading Trump now by 0.2.
Yeah, Ohio's doing pretty
1,000
good, but then
votes.
again,
God, don't look at
all
the
the areas.
NYT needles. Just never look at them.
Georgia only 11% reporting in Georgia right now.
So Mitch McConnell just won re-election to the U.S. Senate.
Josephine Biden has opened up a really strong fucking lead in Texas.
Yeah, that's what we anticipated. They're gonna have
because it's only in Dallas, I think, reporting right now.
Yeah, they're gonna have the metropolitan area provisional
I-
ballots going in pretty quickly.
Yeah, Dallas, wow, Dallas is massively.
Is good. Dallas is looking good.
Yeah.
Denton.
Florida's not looking too hot. It's moving a little more towards Trump now. Another 1,000 went over to Trump, so now we're not at. We're at like yikes. We're at 26,000 difference.
I think we can pretty safely call Florida.
Holy.
Yeah, 86% in.
Okay.
By
This is so
49.8.
Oh.
Biden 49.2.
Yeah.
Ohio,
Democratic donors spent more than
Ohio
$100 million opposing Senator Mitch McConnell, and his win was one of the quickest cult races of the night. Oh dear.
All that corporate money. Honestly.
Sorry, Charles, and also a lot of like kind of people from around here donating.
Oh yeah,
in small dollars.
Yeah,
but it did prove to be.
I wasn't even focusing on that race at all.
Yeah,
that was our boy Cal and Sarah up in Maine.
Oh yeah, have you heard about that with Maine?
Maine has actually not reported yet. They closed at 8, which is results.
Okay.
And then New York closes at 9. Yeah. Shout out to my mom who's been working the polls. She had to get up at 5 to go work earlier to go in the polls today, and she's going to be back at like 9:30 tonight. So,
wow. The one thing I will say is that the blue areas of Florida are taking a long time to report.
Mm-hmm.
I think Florida's real margin is going to hinge on.
Well, thank God Florida's coming in.
Less than 50,000.
Mm-hmm.
Less than
it definitely is.
I think we have to keep in mind that the predicted total vote count is going to be different than what actually is going to come in because
the mail-in ballots.
Yeah, mail-in ballots. Mm-hmm.
You still have some of them that are not going to be, like, for example, like all early voting and previously tabulated. So mail-in ballots that were already mailed. Like some people probably mailed them in like yesterday, and they didn't receive them yet, for example.
Mm-hmm. Not only that, but depending on the state, they can only open up mail-in ballots on election day. So some states it's like a week beforehand. Some states it's whenever they receive the mail-in ballot. But in states like Pennsylvania and I believe Wisconsin as well, their mail-in ballots can only be opened on election day. So they're probably going to be tabulating that for a long time into the future.
Yeah. Like I know Florida gives you, I think, until the 10th for them to physically receive it, but you have to have it postmarked latest by 8 o'clock Eastern time.
I think Miami. Sorry to pivot from that, but I think Miami-Dade is a really good example of that. You can expand your electoral map, but you gotta protect the home base a little bit. You know, like
it's very risky to move into those kind of like massive, like cutting into other people's votes and relying on that.
And I'm seeing that the Biden campaign, apparently from like something I saw on NYT, they are getting the statewide margins they expected, but it's the hemorrhaging in Miami-Dade that is screwing it over. So, I mean,
just all that,
Democrats.
Yeah, that and if you look at a state like or county like Miami-Dade, like how many votes are in that 14%? Like, is it gonna could it like equal out like an incredibly small county? I don't know. Like, does anyone have an idea? Like how? Like,
I mean, 86% if Miami ever goes red, like Florida's gone
forever.
Yeah, that would be really bad.
It would be like a crazy to get Florida at this point. It's gone. The margin is the margins.
The one thing that I think that is we should focus on though as well. Like the younger Cubans are actually going more towards like the liberal wing though.
That is true.
Which is good because a lot of the people who are voting they're old, like they're literally going to die off in a couple of years. I don't say it in a bad way. I'm just like they're old. Like they're like these people were born pre-war. Some of them, not all, but some of them were. Some of them weren't, some of them came here as little kids, but even those who came here as little kids are like in their 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s, not all of them are going to be here for many years. So like Florida's going to be an ever-changing state for years to come. I think it's going to be a toss-up. I think almost every election from now on.
Yeah, and I mean, I think a similar trend we're going to see in Texas and Georgia, like as James mentioned, the
Definitely.
metropolitan hubs in the South
Kansas
have
is
been just
20%.
booming recently, particularly in Texas and Georgia, and that's really going to skew over their demographics to being more younger, minority, and better educated, which is going to completely shift them over.
Definitely, I agree with that. Yeah, Texas and Georgia are going to be much more in play. So losing Florida may not be too bad, given the fact that Texas and Georgia, both as like Florida, are having an increase in population, which will correlate to an increase in electoral votes.
Biden looks great now, but that is in Ohio, and that's mostly though because of the early mail ballots.
Yeah, don't get hopeful there.
That is going to get a lot closer.
I had Ohio as tilt Republican for a reason.
Yeah, I think
I said
Iowa and Ohio at this point are going to go to the Trump campaign probably.
Yeah, definitely Iowa. I think the only race we should really be watching in Iowa is that U.S. Senate race against retard Ernst and smart Greenfield. What's the price of a soybean? $5.50. Wrong. It's currently right now it's $11.07. Wait, I think that Greenfield answered. She answered for corn. That's the question we asked her, Senator Ernst. Oh, my mic must have went bust. That's what she was saying.
Trump's
so it looks like
continued to open up his lead in Florida.
Yes, sir. Yeah,
God.
we've called it. I think
She's gone.
Spenser Walsh never call Florida.
Spenser Walsh podcast called.
We have called it.
48.9.
Trump
Texas
wins
and
Florida.
Ohio.
All right, yeah, that's what I played a little sound there. You guys couldn't hear. I played a little like official sounding
20%
call.
reporting. Sorry, 20% reporting in Kansas, and Biden is up.
Yeah, where are they reporting though? They're probably reporting like in Wichita.
No, actually not. Like
Actually,
random
yeah,
counties.
it's Kansas City, actually, south of Kansas City. It's like
Well,
Lulu.
that's
Missouri.
there's a big city there. I can't remember what city's in that one. That's Johnson. That's where Sharice Davids represents.
okay.
Yeah, she's gonna have to have a tough fight. I think, right?
No, Sharice is actually
Ohio
she's going to do pretty good actually tonight. She's looking
I
to do
think
pretty
Ohio
good.
might be interesting to watch. I mean, I know you guys are
40%
obviously
in.
saying like it's going to tilt over towards being
No, but
Trump
I think-
by the end of the night, but
I think you're right.
Biden has
It
been
looks
very
very good.
performing in many. He's been overperforming Hillary to a significant margin in many of the urban areas, which could help carry it over. I mean, we'll have to see obviously how it turns out, but I feel like the really core Biden demographic are those like suburban Midwestern voters, which I think could really shift over depending on how the night goes.
Yeah, and those Ohio like suburban former Republicans, if he can get those, like, and if he can pick them up in Pennsylvania too, that'll be very key. And North Carolina, that'll be very key as well. Speaking of which, that's just not even worth looking at yet. North Carolina, very, very small.
These areas like Ohio, Michigan, I mean, Michigan, Wisconsin is definitely going for Biden. Pennsylvania, I could actually see going for Trump again. But the reason why I say Michigan, Wisconsin are pretty solid for Biden is because 2018 results, definitely Wisconsin's going for Biden because that 2020 Supreme Court election, like that's pretty much showing that they turned Democrat. But like Ohio, like if that goes blue, I'd be happy with that. I mean, I know we didn't get Florida, but.
What distinguishes Pennsylvania in your eyes from a state like Michigan or Wisconsin? With like they seem
it's a
like
sizable
Rust Belt.
amount of rural area, and it really depends on how many of these suburbanites and how many of the urbanites go out and vote in Pennsylvania. That's exactly what happened to Hillary back in 2016. There wasn't enough urbanites and suburbanites.
People like Democrats are really their big area of focus there is Philadelphia and Pittsburgh to get those.
Yeah. Oh wow. Okay. Biden is losing his lead really bad. I mean, he already lost his lead, but he's losing because North Florida's coming in a lot.
Yeah.
Florida right now.
God,
So yeah,
he might underperform Hillary, I think. Right?
God, don't.
Yeah, definitely.
Don't even.
But that's just one state, James. Don't worry about it. It's just one state. Like Biden is strong with
Sure.
blacks. You gotta remember that.
Sure.
So Georgia may go good for him.
But this does
I don't mean
this
to-
does say as a
I'm not-
bellwether, I think, for the rest of the election. Though.
Okay, African Americans. Excuse me.
It's
I really should have said that anyway.
Georgia, we're not going to see tonight though because of Fulton County's
No.
delayed.
And also the freaking voter suppression. There's probably still people. I feel so bad for the people.
I
They're
know,
probably
it's
still in
crazy.
line
Stacey
waiting to vote,
Abrams
some
really really like brought that to the forefront because it's seriously bad. James, what do you think of Texas's counties that have reported yet? Do you see any indicators in
Um,
what's happened yet?
One thing I will say is Dallas is coming stronger than it ever has. I've never seen a Democrat with above 60 right now this early, with 81% in for Dallas County. Biden really is doing good in Dallas. Houston, not actually. Wow, Houston is 82%, but I don't know. He's not really doing. Right now, Biden is doing pretty good, but he's not doing as big as I would have thought because I remember reading that Houston, and that the surrounding suburbs around there was having a relatively large turnout.
Yeah,
I guess a lot of people.
Dallas,
I mean,
Texas as a state hit, I believe, 114% early vote turnout prior to
wow,
election night.
that's crazy.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, I mean Texas. I definitely look if Texas does go blue. I'm optimistic that if it does, that would be great. But I still think it's going to go for Trump because I don't want to be overly optimistic because that's exactly what happened to
Is Travis
Yeah.
is that a Dallas?
Travis.
Is that Dallas?
Let me see. Travis.
Oh no,
I
Dallas County is
believe
Dallas.
Travis is Dallas, and Harris is Austin. I want to say.
I think
if I'm
Travis is
remembering
Houston because
Houston? Okay.
With the
okay.
early
Dallas.
vote in,
Yeah,
Biden had the
I found
lead
a
over
Dallas
Trump.
County, so I gotta assume.
In Ohio's Delaware County, a GOP stronghold.
That is looking good.
I
Yeah,
would
jeez.
never ever in my life have predicted that we could see Florida go red and potentially Ohio and Texas go blue in
Yeah,
this election.
Yeah,
I-
this is going to be it. Look,
It's a weird year.
I'm feeling happy about the sense that this is going to be like a really interesting election to watch.
I think
So I'm gonna say.
honestly, I think Biden really has no one really but himself to blame for not supporting or checking back in with the Latino population there for losing. I think it was within reach for sure.
It definitely was. I think like the thing is, I think that if anyone else was like, honestly, I think if Bernie was on the ballot, he probably would have won Florida.
Huh.
I would even say for most other candidates.
Really?
Most other candidates, I think, besides Biden and Harris, and then slightly with Warren, I'd say, don't really have a very strong amount of Hispanic support. But like Bernie, Julian Castro, um, and then what was the guy's name? Pete he had a bigger actually support than Biden did in the primary, which I thought that was actually kind of funny. In some states, Nevada for one, that was just one outlier where Pete didn't have nearly as much. But just to give like an example, but I think that like Biden, instead of focusing on like the Midwest and the Rust Belt states, like he didn't even go down to Florida that much. You got to realize that. Like I think he went down to Florida like twice, and like one of them was to play Despacito on his phone. That was a hot mess right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Biden.
That was a
Biden,
real
Biden.
hot mess. Also, by the way, 32% in Texas. Biden is up by 9.3.
Wow.
That's good.
And this is where you really, if you're Biden, you need to run up those numbers.
Yeah, I mean Biden really, gosh, wow, he is not doing good even in the black wing of Florida, the north, the Jefferson and Madison County, which is just east of Tallahassee. That's where the majority of the black vote is, and he's not even really doing good right now there.
Mm-hmm.
And again, Jefferson's only 74, but Madison's 90. Yikes, that's not good. I think Florida probably already went for Trump. I don't even know why I'm still looking at it, to be honest, but
Yeah.
I just
Copium.
like status.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
I
definitely.
Biden can pick up Ohio and keep Pennsylvania. And
If he takes Ohio, he's won this
I
election.
mean,
Absolutely.
that's the thing
It's
about
just
Biden.
Yeah, it
It's
all
not
goes to
like,
Pennsylvania
unlike Trump,
now.
where it's like he had to win Florida for him to have a chance at getting the election. Biden has numerous different paths to victory. So even if one or two states don't go the way we want them to go, there's still a possibility of him carrying the night. And I think that's interesting to see. Like North Carolina right now, 55% reporting, and Joe Biden's up more than 10 points. So we'll have to see where the night goes, but I think there's numerous different paths to victory.
It definitely is. Yeah, I think that we definitely are getting a little bit worried over one state, but I think it's just because we were optimistic about Florida possibly going for Biden because 2018 results were tight, and